She works, but she's not pretty. A lot of stickers and Sharpie all over the surface of this one. You can see the memory card slots also have some Sharpie over them. The sides are not too bad. The whole thing's a little bit dinged up and has some dirt on it, but overall the condition's not terrible. This is the worst of the ports with a little bit of corrosion, but all of them are in decent shape. Underside is actually quite good as well. Inside the disc tray there's a little bit of dirt, but nothing too alarming. I got this console from my brother. I think it was a garage sale pickup. It looks like it used to belong to a school district or something. That would explain all the stickers and writing all over it. What I'm doing now is just kind of surface level, taking off what's easy to remove in terms of the stickers. Some of them don't come off all the way, clearly, but we'll take care of that in a little bit. I'm starting to worry about this marker. Assuming it is Sharpie, and depending on how long it's been on the surface, it could be very difficult to get off there. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. When I'm done taking off the easy to get at stickers, we're gonna have to take this thing apart to clean off the shell a little bit better. Let's do it. I'm not going to go too crazy on this in terms of cleaning out the entirety of the inside, every port, etc. Really, I just want to get the exterior to a nice, presentable condition. And this is really just to show that while some conditions like this may appear intimidating at first, it really doesn't always take that much effort to get it back to something nice again. That said, we just need to take the shell off. Well, it's a little dusty in here, but really not that bad. The lid for the I/O port fell off. We'll just move that away. We want to get these buttons out. The easiest to access are the ones with these two little tabs. You just squeeze them. I'm using a tweezers to push them through a little further. Keep in mind this one had a spring on it. And for this one we will need to take off a couple extra screws. So let the disc tray loose, and that can come up. It's got that spring. It's okay if you leave it kind of dangly. And we can remove this button the same as the others. Move this to the side for now. I'll take the spring off the power button, and let's see what we can do here. I want to get the remainder of the stickers off of these, so I have some Goo Gone, and I'm going to be generous with it. We'll let that sit for a few minutes. I'm just going to scrape at that residue there with this spudger. The Goo Gone has done its job and it's coming up pretty easily. And we've got our paper towels handy. No more sticker on that one. And it's really just the same process for the other two. I'm going to dip the marker area in the Goo Gone as well. Some of it is coming off. That's working pretty well. I'm going to cut the camera and come back in to the point where I've given up on the Goo Gone and have to do something else. Alright, it's been exactly 5 minutes, and this is where I'm at. The reset button is pretty much perfectly clean now. The blue marker really comes off well. This one I think had a little black marker on it as well. It's not quite gone. This one you can see it kind of still has the semblance of the word power written in Sharpie, even though it's also right there in bright green, courtesy of the manufacturer, so not sure why you did that. If I keep going at this long enough, I'm sure it'll all come off, but trying alcohol might not be a bad idea either. The alcohol, just pour a little bit down. Drop these buttons in. And I'll let this sit for a few minutes. Another 5 minutes later, I've dried up the alcohol. The power and reset button are essentially perfect. However, on open, there's the faintest outline. It's like a C shape that still has some marker residue. Now this thing is subdermal. You can hardly notice it, but since I can notice it, it bothers me. But for now, I think I'll call it good enough. Now these little button boys probably still have a bunch of Goo Gone on the backside, so we'll rinse them off with Dawn dish soap and water. That's taken care of, so we'll leave them to dry. Moving on to the shell, you can remove the lid if you want, but I'm just going to tape it shut. Usually this blow dryer is for when I want to feel pretty, but now it serves a different purpose. I'm going to tape over some areas where there's no marker so I don't have to clean Goo Gone out of it later. A little bit of alcohol really takes that stuff off. Did you see how easily that blue stuff came off compared to this? That must have been some knockoff brand. That is Sharpie. Authentic brand. That's how good it stays. Unfortunately for us. And by us, I mean me. This is not going to come off this year with alcohol alone. I've got to move to the magic eraser to try and get that off. And also, it'll be helpful to blend in where that sticker was. You can see a faint outline left. So putting alcohol instead of water on the magic eraser is kind of your saving grace. You don't have to use as much elbow grease, and it just takes it off. It's pretty neat. Let's also do that to blend in where that sticker was before. And then I'm just going to kind of hit the whole thing, a little bit, lightly. Time to take the tape off. And of course we'll clean inside of the disc tray. And with the Q-tip we gotta get in these little nooks and crannies. That's the dirt we get out of in and around the disc tray. The last thing I'll do for the shell is clean it off with an alcohol-soaked wipe. And the shell's done. I didn't mention it, but I also cleaned off around the sides, you know, by the ports, all these nooks and crannies, clean those off with alcohol as well. And it looks pretty good. Back to the system itself, I'm really hoping I can clean off these memory card markers without taking them off. And I can. It's coming off pretty good. There's a little bit on the controller port too. And with everything else, I'm not going to disassemble the whole thing. I mean, it is working fine. It's not too dirty. There is some dust kind of all around here. I'll do a surface level clean here with some alcohol and air duster, and then I'm going to put it back together. Some people might consider the use of magic eraser here as blasphemy. This photo compares the area where I used the eraser most heavily versus where I hardly used it at all. The surface texture is still intact and is more or less identical in both areas. Magic eraser doesn't have to be your enemy. Well, that's it. We're good to go now. Well, we were good to go before, but at least now she looks pretty. Not considering the video recording, this whole process probably took an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And I think it's worth pointing out that, you know, some things, they look like, oh, that thing's covered in stickers, it's ugly, that'll take forever, I'm gonna garage sale it, I'm gonna throw it away. You know, maybe not. You can fix that up maybe more quickly than you think. It just takes a little bit of elbow grease and a little bit of tender love and care. And that's all I got, everyone. Really hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching.